I'm Carolee Garrison, a motivational speaker, singer, and songwriter, and your host of the Seeking Sunshine podcast, where we find the positive in the trials of life.
What I want to share is just like a screen recording of like the behind the scenes. Like, here's what it looks like when I drag something to somewhere else. Hopefully that will help you just to know what it looks like. So my podcast, Seeking Sunshine, has been, let's see, I'm on episode 72, came out last Tuesday. So I've been doing this for a little while. Tech side, I am terrible with tech. Genuinely terrible. It's a thing. But this can be done, okay? I promise you, it can be so easy. All right? So, the first thing that you need is an audio file. An audio file is actually a really simple thing to create. One way that you can make an audio file is by having a Zoom meeting. You can have a free Zoom meeting up to 30 minutes long, or you can pay $15 a month. Wait, it might be 17 now. You can pay for a Zoom subscription. I pay for a Zoom subscription because my podcast episodes tend to be an hour-ish long. So I pay, can't remember if it's $15 a month or $17 a month. So I pay for a subscription because I want to be able to talk as long as I feel like. And the benefits of using Zoom is that you can have the video, which is what I'm filming this on right now, on my crappy old laptop, okay? And then I can have the audio or the video or whatever. But another way that you can have it, and there's like all sorts of platforms. You don't have to use Zoom, but Zoom is what I use. The other thing that I use all the time for audio is the voice memo app on my phone. So this is my iPhone, and I go over here. It says voice memos right here. Voice memos. I use this for every single intro and every single outro, and I use it for most of my solo episodes. I only use Zoom when I'm interviewing somebody, and I use this for everything else. And that's it. And I don't go hide in the closet, and I just go sit in a room and I record it. And yeah, it's not perfect, but that's my life. My life is messy, and this is messy, and I don't worry about sound. Now, that's how you get an audio file. There's one on my phone with the voice notes, or I use Zoom. Ta-da, audio file. Done. Now I want to talk about the microphone. Oh, and FYI, my podcast is messy. It is not a perfect podcast. It is not like he talks about vent. There's a vent right above my head. Oops. Like, it's not perfect. This is the messy Bessie way to get it out. Hello. He talks. People. We were talking about microphones. This is a Blue Yeti microphone. This is literally the first time I've ever used it. It arrived yesterday morning. I'm on episode 72, guys. I've never used a professional podcasting microphone. I've been using this sucker. You see this? $5 headphones from Walmart. I don't even know. It could have been $10. I don't know. I've had them forever. These little plug-in, cheapy, crappy headphones. I've been using these for everything. For 72 episodes. For all of my guest episodes, this is what I've been using. Not this big fancy thing here. I've been using this. The pink, cheap, crappy headphones, okay? You don't have to have a big fancy mic to have a podcast. You can, but you don't have to. I've done my podcast for $0. $0 for 2 years almost. Okay, you can do this for nothing. Okay, so you have your audio file. All you need, you're talking to your phone or you're talking to the computer, you talk to a person, you do your thing. Now, if you have, well, I guess I should say, I'm using Spotify for podcasters, which used to be called Anchor. So all I can do is tell you what I've done. All I can do is walk you through what I'm doing. Okay? If you want to use a different platform, go for it. Like, go do your research. Go find the best thing. I didn't do that. I just did things. I'm a jump the gun, just do it kind of person. So what's great about this is that I can click the button hopefully this shows up. You click the three dots on the side. Kathy talks about this. Literally, I learned this from Kathy. She's the greatest. You click the three buttons. It says share, and I can just send it straight to Spotify for podcasters right there. There's the Spotify for podcasters button. I click it. It goes right to my episode. And that's how I do my intro. Right? So if it's on my phone, there, I just sent it right and it shows up. I do most of my podcast episodes from my cell phone. I go to the app, Spotify for Podcasters app on my phone, and it's all there. There's only a couple things I can't do from my phone, but like, and it's the show notes, which I will get to. That's like the last thing on the list. It's literally like midnight the night before my episode comes out, and I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't do the show notes yet. So that's the very last thing on the list. And the only thing that I can't do with the show notes is like the indentations. Can't get them quite right on my cell phone, but everything else I do from my phone. But since I'm doing this recording on my computer, I'm going to show you everything from the computer because I can share my screen and it's not as easy to see all the details on my phone when I just hold it up. So here's what I'm going to show you. You record on Zoom, or at least that's what I do. I record my interview with somebody, or I record my solo episode sometimes on Zoom if I want footage of it, and then I can splice it up. I use an app called Viva Video. There's a lot of other apps that do the same thing, but what I can do is after it does its converting process, which I will show you, I'm going to splice this up on Viva Video, and I'm going to slip in the footage where I took a video on my cell phone of my test Zoom video where it was like converting, okay? Does this thing. You finish your Zoom, you go on Zoom, you start your Zoom meeting, you hit record, really important part, you hit record, and then when you end the meeting, it'll do the little box and it will say converting, okay? When it finishes converting, it looks like this. See this beautifulness? This is what it looks like when it finishes converting, okay? It has the audio record, okay? Audio MP4 is the audio. The video is the video. It says audio, video, audio, video. If you want, you can click on this audio and it will split it by person. Okay, it's not splitting it by person in my example because I'm the only person in the video that I did my example of. But if I was interviewing somebody and there was somebody else on there and I wanted to be really fancy, I could put the whole thing into GarageBand or Logic or whatever audio software I was using, and I could adjust the volumes of each of us. So if I was interviewing somebody and I was really feeling fancy, which I used to do this and I don't do it anymore, I was really feeling fancy and my other person I was interviewing wasn't using a microphone and their volume was really low, or I wasn't using a microphone and my volume was really low, I could put the entire thing into GarageBand and I could increase my volume, or I could increase my guest's volume. And so that one right here, the file folder, the audio record, is where you're going to have an audio record of each individual person's audio. Okay. So then here you have the audio that's both parties, everybody's, the whole thing, and then here's the video, all right? So this, Zoom doesn't like it when I switch screens. So this is I'm gonna have to switch screens and then drag it and show you how this works. So what's gonna happen is I'm gonna take this MP4 audio and I'm gonna drag it into my new episode file on Spotify for podcasters. I hope that makes sense. So what I'm going to have to do to show you this is I have to stop my screen share and then I have to re-screen share because Zoom is hilarious like that. So here we go. Here is Spotify for podcasters. I'm going to click new episode. I'm not even going to do it. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do it because I don't want to. Because that was a fake Zoom recording of me just playing around and it's not real. So what I would do is I would take that audio MP4 and I would drag it over to here, okay? I would just drag it. and then it would sit here and it would upload. Oh, come on. Go, edit your audio. I would hit episodes. I would go new episode. Right? It would be a whole thing. Okay. Right? You go episode, new episode, drag your audio where you want it. I could do that right here as well. Right? I could just drag the audio from that file into this bar right here. As you can see, this is my episode that came out Tuesday. Here's all the audio clips that are in it. Okay. There you go. I hope that makes sense. So now what I want to show you is, so what I also have done here is it's also got audio clips from my phone that I have also dragged in here. It's got my intros, it's got my music, it's got all the pieces for my podcast. Now I want to show you what those pieces are so that when I'm compiling my episode, I'm like, check, 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 check. Here's all my pieces. Your pieces can look different from my pieces. It's whatever pieces you want to have in your podcast. I'm going to be honest with you. I model my podcast after Kathy's podcast because I really like Kathy's podcast. So I have a teaser. This is an episode that's about an hour long. I think it's an hour 7 minutes, and it is a guest episode. And my guest's name was Kendria. So it has a teaser. 57 seconds long, and it is a little clip of something excellent she said, and it's right at the beginning of my episode. Okay. The next thing I have in there is my Seeking Sunshine intro, which is my my podcast is called Seeking Sunshine. I write custom podcast intro songs for people. If that's something you want, well, let me know. But also, if you want something I've already written, you can have it for free. But also, Spotify, look, has music for free. You can also get free music from lots of other places. There's all sorts of free music. The video editing app that I use called Viva Video also has free music. And I know that there's a lot of people, like there was like a list in the chat of like free music, royalty free music places. Okay. All sorts of options. So I have my music here. That's where my intro song goes. Okay. And then I have this section that I call Welcome to Seeking Sunshine, which goes, hi, I'm Carrie Lee Garrison. Here's what my podcast is about. And you might notice it has a little music bit right here. There's a part in Spotify for podcasters where you can hit 3 dots and it will say there's edit audio. This is the part where you can splice it, you can edit it, you can cut it, you can do all sorts of things. Okay. You can, if somebody swears and I don't want them to say that word on my podcast, I can cut it out. If somebody was like, oh no, I have to go to the bathroom, and there's like 5 minutes of dead space in our Zoom recording, I can cut that out. If they farted really loud, I can cut that out. I can edit the audio right here. And I usually do it from my cell phone. Probably while I'm peeing. I'm just kidding. But like I can do that from my phone while my kids are watching TV. Like that's what I do is I edit, and I don't edit very much. Like I usually only edit if there's like a big chunk of dead space. And usually what I do edit is I split the episode in half so I can put my ad in there for a custom podcast song. Does that make sense? Okay, so you can edit everything in here. So I take my audio straight from my Zoom recording, put it into Spotify for podcasters. And if I do have to edit anything, I do it right there. Okay. Like if I chatted with them at the beginning, I can just splice that off at the beginning. I can splice something off at the end if I need to. I can edit it all here. I can add background music. That's what I actually came to say for this section. Okay, that's what this little piece here means. It means I added background music. I also have background music for the teaser. Okay, and then is my introduction where I say, welcome to today's podcast episode. Let me introduce you to my guest. In my introduction, I usually read their bio. And I'm like, hey, it's raining today. How's it going for you? Whatever, right? That's my intro. And then is my podcast, right? Here's the first part of the podcast. hey, look, I didn't put in, I did not even remember to put in, looks like I forgot to put the custom podcast um, song advertisement that I usually do into this episode. I just straight up forgot because it's not even here. So that's fun. I just forgot. So usually I would take that 48-minute segment and I would slice it in half. You might notice that 48, so this used to be a 48 plus 54 plus 44 segment. Why did I split it in three? Because I cut the teaser out so I could put it at the beginning. Does that make sense? So I went in there and I was like, this is the segment that I want to be the teaser. Okay. And I spliced it out and I renamed it teaser and I added it again and then moved it to the top. Hope that makes sense. I only just started doing that like 6 months ago. Okay. I didn't always do that. So if that is something that overwhelms you, don't do it. Okay. You don't have to do that. That is not something you have to do. Okay, so then all three of these segments, this one, and this one, are all just the original interview with Kendria. Okay, and then here's Kendria End, which is my, I like to do takeaways, just what Kathy does. Okay, and so I'm like, oh, Kendria was so awesome. Here are the 7 takeaways, and then I add a song at the very end because I'm a singer songwriter, and Kathy does that, and I thought it was really cool, so I did that too. So here's my podcast. That's the whole thing. I hit save, it goes out. Now, for anyone who's got questions about the RSS feed, I Googled it and it was 2 years ago and I literally just Googled it until I figured it out. And you can figure it out. You can do it. Just Google. This is just like a day in the life of Kara Lee. This is not super detailed, in-depth stuff. This is just what I do. Okay, I just wanted to give you guys like a visual of what I do. Okay, I hope that this is helpful. The other thing that I wanted to tell you that I do, so Kathy does takeaways. I do takeaways and I turn them into quotes. So I go back through and I listen to the whole episode, which helps me to know if I want to edit anything. And I will tell you that when I was looking for guests, I went onto this group called Need a Guest, and I was like, "Who wants to be on my podcast?" And I got 100 gajillion. I had to shut off comments after less than 24 hours because I got so many people who wanted to be on my show, and I got like 30 interviews in January. Like, my show is super covered through the end of the year. Like, I have so many like episodes in the can, and I also overdid it in January and was like burnt out, but now I have like a ton of episodes, and some of them were amazing and some of them were like super weird. So that's my plug for like, get a Google form, like vet the people that you're gonna have on your show. Don't be me and just let anybody come on, because you just never know what kind of people are out there. But anyways, so I do quotes, and so I go through and I listen, and then I write down in my phone notes. Like I copy myself. I have never done Descript. I just like write down. I also don't use Canva. I like Adobe because I'm weird and I like to go off the beaten path here. And so I take those quotes and I turn them into a thing, and then I share them on social media. And then I also have a little kind of hack if you have an iPhone to do reels, to do audio clips. You can screen record. If you have an iPhone and you don't know how to screen record, although it's possible that I'm the only person who didn't know that you could screen record on an iPhone, you just Google it. It's like a really, really, really cool feature of having an iPhone that you can screen record. And so when I'm sometimes the like download your own audio clip feature doesn't work, and that's really annoying. But like you can just screen capture that, and then I can have it in my photos, and then I can use Viva Video, which again is the video editing software app that I like to use. There's a bunch of them, but that's the one I like to use, which I think I pay $20 a year to use that one. And I only have to pay $20 a year if my videos are going to be over 5 minutes. So like it's free if they're under 5 minutes. out, but since I make music videos with it, I pay for that. So, anyways, I hope that helps you. And so then like I hit publish. Oh, I was gonna show you show notes. Sorry, let me share screen and show you the show notes before I forget. Show notes. They were here a second ago. Show notes. Some people didn't know what show notes were. Here's the name of my podcast. Ta-da. So what I do for my show notes are like a summary of your show. Some people do like a play-by-play. People do them in all sorts of ways. There's a lot of different ways to do show notes. You can put whatever you want to in your show notes, okay? It's up to you. I want to go simple. So I do my guest's bio. I'm like, join Kelly in an interview with my guest. And then I do their bio, which this person didn't send me a bio. So I pretty much made up their bio based on what they said in their interview. And then I put the takeaways. Okay. Now, oh, and then I put all their links and then I put all my links, right? And I will tell you that when I do the show notes on my phone, because I do the show notes on my phone, it all just ends up in a big block of text, and I have to come back on my computer to like put indentations on it, because when I try to put indentations on it on my phone, it just takes me out of this box and puts me down here, right, to a different thing. So that's the thing. Oh, and like I just learned this the other day. You can make your episode type be a trailer or a bonus episode. That's how you put out a new trailer. I didn't know that until like a few days ago. You can publish your episodes way in advance. You can have them all ready to go. I never seem to do that. And then I can show you this too. I have like a whole bunch of episodes all ready to go, all dressed. So as soon as I record an episode with a guest, I immediately, as soon as it is done, can't remember what it's called, doing its thing from Zoom, as soon as it's done, like it's ready, I drag it right onto here, so it's all ready to go. So I have like all these drafts, all these people whose episodes are ready to go out. Hope you can see that. Okay. Anyways, I wonder if I have anything else. Yeah. So then you just click go, and it comes out, and you're like, yay, everybody, my podcast is here. So I hope that helps you. You can totally do this. You can totally do this. You got this. Rah rah. Go find all the tutorials because they're better than this is just a walkthrough of like what my day-to-day getting my podcast out looks like, and this only takes me like a couple hours, and that's with going through all the quotes. You don't have to do quotes. It's just me being extra. Okay, so I hope that helps. And then what I'm gonna do is when I finish this video, I'm gonna wait for it to convert, and then I will email it to myself. That's what's so cool about Zoom, is that I can email this video to myself, and then I can open it in Viva Video, and then I'm gonna splice in my cover of my podcast, and I can splice in the little video I took of it converting, so you know what that looks like. Or you could take this video and you can put it right up on YouTube, and that's how people get their podcast episodes on YouTube. I will tell you, I've had issues in the past where I would highly recommend that if you're going to put it on YouTube, do it right from your computer, and don't do what I did and try to download it on your phone first and then put it on YouTube, because it wouldn't ever upload. Like, it took so long that my phone was like, abort mission. This file's too huge. So try to put it right from your computer to YouTube instead of going through your phone first. And then all the files, I have an external hard drive because my computer is super, super, super old. It has like no storage space on it at all. And also I don't use videos yet. I'm regretting that now, and I had deleted all my videos from my guests, and I'm wishing I hadn't. Because I am just wishing I hadn't. But a lot of my guests weren't like ready for video yet, and I wasn't ready for video yet, and now I am, and I'm like, oh, I deleted all those. But I have an external hard drive that I got at Walmart. So get an external hard drive and you can just plug it in and put everything on the external hard drive and then you won't lose anything. And they swore to me that I would never fill it up. I was like, are you sure? I'm going to be the person that fills it up, but whatever. And then let's see. So I pay for Zoom. I never bought a new computer. My computer is old and really, really crappy. It really needs to be upgraded. I just barely got a podcasting microphone. Just barely. My headphones still suck. I do pay for Calendly. Calendly is really helpful. However, Calendly is free if you only have one thing. If you only want to use it to have one event, it's free. So if you just want to like have people schedule and you just have like come be a podcast guest, it's free. But I have multiple events, multiple things for people to schedule. So I'm paying a little bit for that. I can't even remember how much it is. I do pay for Viva Video, which is like $20 a year. I'm trying to remember what else I pay for. I also pay for, I don't use Canva. Everyone loves Canva. I didn't love Canva, so I use Adobe Express. And I think I pay $7 a month for their advanced version, but I don't have to. I could also use their free version and it would be fine, but I use that for my podcast quotes because I like all the graphics that they have. They have tons and tons and tons of photos that I use for that. So I use that a lot. So those are the things that I'm paying for, and those are the apps that I use. Zoom, Calendly, Adobe Express, and Viva Video. And again, there's other ones. There's plenty of other ones. You can do free ones. You can do a lot for free. I started this dang fly. I started my podcast like super broke, really, really broke. You can do this for like nothing. Okay, you can do this with just a phone. You can do it. Okay, promise. The RSS thing is annoying to figure out, but once it's done, it's done. All right.